So what makes emerging markets an attractive asset class?
Valuations are very reasonable, especially compared to other asset classes currently. But also, at this point in the cycle, we think the tailwinds are behind emerging markets. The cycles for emerging markets typically last 5 to 7 years. We had a strong down cycle from 2010 to 2015, 2016, and we're only, we believe, in the second year of what is typically a 5-year cycle, which would suggest that if history is any guide, we have perhaps another 3 years of upcycle. The emerging markets are a very cyclical asset class, so if the economies are in an upcycle, the asset class tends to do well.
So Jeff, how do you and your team decide which companies to focus on and do in-depth research on?
Well, if you come into our offices at any time, more than half the people are not there. We're out doing boots on the ground research, and to facilitate that, we have offices in Zurich, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Shanghai, because we want to be within one flight of every company that we're investing in. So we spend a lot of our time on the ground, seeing what people are buying, talking to suppliers, customers, etc., and seeing what companies are doing well. We don't think it's enough to go to the capital cities and the headquarters to talk to the CEO and CFO. Their job is to sell us the stock, but they don't necessarily tell you everything you want to know about the company. So boots on the ground research is how we uncover our ideas.
So what can an investor expect from investing in your fund?
You can expect a portfolio of 30 high quality companies, among the best companies in the emerging markets, and held for the long term. In terms of our goals, we attempt to outperform the emerging market index over a 3 to 5 year cycle.
So what are the risks involved in investing in emerging markets and also specifically your fund?
So the volatility of emerging markets is certainly there, and it's roughly equivalent to an investment in the ASX in terms of the level of volatility. However, when you combine the two, there's actually quite a lot of diversification benefit. Our fund has volatility that is also very similar to the emerging markets as a whole and has some diversification benefits for equity investors.
So what type of investor should be investing in emerging markets, and what role should that be playing in their portfolio?
So an investor who has a long run time frame, say a 3 to 5 year horizon at least, who has the capacity to take on equity-like risk, and the role it would play would be as two roles really, a diversifier, first of all. As I mentioned, there is some lowering of risk due to diversification benefit, but also a growth benefit. So GDP growth in emerging markets would be 4% and above, whereas in the developed markets, typical GDP growth is more like 2 to 3%. So if you need a growth portion of your portfolio, emerging markets is certainly a candidate that should be looked at.